Hello.
Hello.
Miguel.
Hi,
Hello,
Shabnam.
everyone.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone.
All right, let's
Welcome.
get started.
Yes. So, welcome to Prepare for Exam Day. So, this is the last of the 5 sessions for you to get certified by PL-300, and I'm joined by Shabnam. So, let's start by kicking things off by doing a small presentation on us. So, I'm Miguel Felix. I'm from Portugal. I'm a Microsoft Data MVP. I'm also a Microsoft MCP and also a Fabric Community super user. You can find me on social media. Oh, sorry. You can find me on social media, on LinkedIn, and also have a blog. So, Shabnam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Shabnam Watson here. I'm an independent data consultant. I work with Power BI and its grandfather, SQL Server Analysis Services, for about 20 years. Mostly in the data world with Microsoft products, my entire career. I'm also a Microsoft Data Platform MVP, like Miguel, and happy to be here today, helping you get ready to pass PL-300.
Yes, thank you. So, we are also joined by our amazing moderators, the two amazing MVPs. So we have Deepti and Christian on the chat. They can help out on any questions you have. They will answer on everything you need to know. Probably there are some other MVPs online or some other users that are also helping them, but these are the main ones that are helping us deliver this session. So let's just see what in the plan. So if you are on this session, don't forget, say hi, ask questions, use the chat. Let's interact. Let's make this session the more interactive as possible. So it's much better to know that you are on that side, just seeing our session and making questions and trying to understand how you can overcome this big PL-300. Okay. So
We also would love if people tell us in the chat how many years have you been using Power BI during the live session. So if you're watching this during on July 9th, the session is live. So we would love for you to tell us in the chat how long you have been using Power BI.
So Shabnam, how long have you been using it?
So I have been using it since day one because I came from the background of analysis services and Excel pivot tables. And then when Power BI came out, I was super happy. So I've been using it in real projects. Probably I got involved with it after the first 5 years. So hands-on production implementations after the first 5 years. How about you, Miguel?
Also from day one. We both have the 5-year T-shirt, right?
Yeah, we have. By the way, yeah, if you guys are wondering what we're wearing, we're wearing the 5-year anniversary T-shirt.
And as you, I've been since day one. The only difference is that previously I was in a financial role, so I started to implement Power BI immediately for my daily work and for some reports. So not in a production way, but in terms of my report. So we are some of the older persons using this, right? So hopefully there are a lot more to join in the live session also. Okay, so let's see what's next. Oh, it's birthday, right?
I don't know. Maybe did AI make this slide?
Sorry?
Did AI make this slide? I don't remember this slide.
I don't know. Maybe we need to sing happy birthday. What do you think?
All right, let's try. Okay.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday, dear Power BI. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
So Henry is here. So Henry just joined. So he's bringing a gift to everyone. So if you go to this QR code, you can check what are the amazing offers they have for the 10th year anniversary. So it's this month. Don't forget, 24th of July. There is going to be some surprises, and if you go to this link, you can check all of them. So don't remember.
Perhaps some things that would help for the exam. Maybe some discount codes even.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yes, part of it is 50% off on the PL-300, so the Power BI, but also on DP-600. So we are also touching Fabric over here in terms of discounts for the certification. So don't forget, these offers expire on August 31st, and they are also limited. So you need to register. You need to send in a message. We will see in a minute how you can do this, but you are able to get a voucher for both of them at 50% off. So there is also a database contest. I don't know if you paid attention to the last FabCon. They did a database contest. There was a world champion of data visualizations. So they are doing another one. So if you are a Power BI pro, or you're just getting started, or you want to understand and show off what you can do, join this contest. It's a lot of fun to see all the different approaches that people have. I don't know if you saw the last one, but there was some amazing participations, and I was like overwhelmed and saying, I don't know anything about Power BI. So, okay, yes. And also there is the Fabric user super panel. Sorry, the Fabric user panel. So if you want to have your voice heard, join this. So just follow this QR code and try to make Fabric experience much better. Share your experience and help out the Microsoft Fabric team. You can also give your feedback, share your stories, and help shape the future of Fabric. So this is a very nice initiative from Fabric. It's in the continuation of what was done with Power BI. Lots of things that we have currently in Power BI were implemented because of the community and because of asks of the community. So also join the Fabric users panel. It's just you just need to register, and probably you will be able to attend. And also we have our second annual Microsoft Community Conference in Europe. So last year was in Stockholm, if I'm not mistaken. This year will be in Vienna. So mark it on your calendar for September. Also, you have, as you can see here, save 200 euros on using this Fab Live. Just register on this QR code and join a lot of experts, a lot of other users, persons that want to have all the information about Fabric and see what is being done out there. Okay, so I think this is basically all the surprises we have for now. So let's see where we are heading. So today, as I said at the beginning, is the final one for this PL-300. So we already had 4 amazing sessions with at least 8 amazing presenters and 8 moderators. So there were a lot more going around the scene. But we had prepare data. We started with prepare your data, the model data, the visualize, and the manage and secure. All of these sessions, including this one, are available on this QR code. Of course, this one will be available in a few hours. But if you didn't catch everything, or you want just to recap, just follow this QR code. Okay. So Shabnam, I think going to you, right?
Yes. Okay. So
how can we prepare for the exam day?
Yes. Before we get started, we would love to know if some of you are planning to take PL-300. So if you're planning to take PL-300, please let us know in the chat. We would love to know. And if you're planning to take PL-300, but you haven't quite scheduled your exam, we would love to know what's the reason that you don't feel like you're ready. So we want to hear from you. What are things that you think are important for you to know, so that we can answer some of those questions later on during the session. Okay, so preparing for the exam, and this is, like I said, it's an open Q&A session at the end. All right. So first of all, let's just take a moment and talk about why get certified. Why should you get certified? And this is independent of Microsoft certifications. So there are different reasons that people consider certifications. It could be because some people want to get a job faster, or they want to stand out in their current job, or some people take certifications because they want to get a promotion, or they want to sometimes people want to change careers. So some people are coming from a different career, they take a certification to change careers. So there's many different reasons, but overall, there's been multiple studies that have shown that certifications generally help you get to a higher salary point, to better assignments, be more productive. So a lot of the employers really love it when the employees take initiatives to get certified. So for me,
Yes. You allow me just a quick parenthesis. In my case, I was in finance, as I said. I got certified, and then I got reached out by some consulting companies, and I changed my entire life doing Power BI and data world as a career. So currently, I'm doing just data and loving it. So, and it was because of the PL-300 certification. Okay.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story, Miguel. So what made you take the first PL-300? So why did you even think about it? How did you come across the certification?
Yeah, being completely honest, I didn't even knew that there was certification. So I went to the Portuguese Power BI user group at the time, and they had a raffle amongst the persons that were attending, and I won the certification. So I won the voucher, a 100% voucher, because I was attending that specific user group. And then I went for it and got certified, and the rest is history, like you usually say, right? But it was just luck.
No, that's great. So side note, by the way, everybody, local user groups are amazing resources to have for networking and also keeping up with things like that, like free vouchers for exams or other conferences, training events. So make sure you find your local user group wherever you are. There's always multiple user groups available to people, and some are even virtual. You can attend virtually. So for me, I took I was already in the career that I wanted to be. By the time when I took the Microsoft certifications, I took them for myself for learning purposes, because it gave me a very targeted window that I had to learn a certain amount of material, and it helped me fill in the gaps. So for me, that was a huge benefit, because sometimes when at work, you may not have a project that covers a wide span of topics. Certification helped me get a wide area of coverage in my knowledge.
Yeah. By the way, can I ask you what certifications you have?
Ooh, okay. All right, that wasn't one of the questions we practiced before, was it? DP 600 and DP 700, and I know you have way more certifications. What do you have?
I also have two, but I have PL-300 and DP 600, so I need to take out the 700. So
yeah. Yeah, that would be great. Like for those of you who are watching this live, let us know what certifications you already have, if you have passed any of the certifications, and which one has been your favorite, by the way. We would love to know. All right, so today there's still a data skills shortage. So even though AI is potentially making a lot of jobs automated, so certain jobs in certain categories may now not need as many people, but in the data world, there's still a skills shortage that a lot of companies still have trouble finding good resources, finding skilled resources. And this surveys that you see on the screen is based on a study that LinkedIn has done. And the data role in US is on average paying $128,000, although this may be a little bit outdated by a year or so. But in general, the data roles have a good entry point salary compared to other careers. So definitely, and then the other thing that you have to also keep in mind is that even if you're not in an IT career, you didn't study computer science, computer engineering, even if you're working in an entirely different field like finance, you're coming from business background. Every business today is a data business. So regardless of where you are, the data skills are very important for you to make sense out of the data to get to your business running.
Yeah, just to add to that, I can tell you that the first time I joined that consulting company that invited me, I worked with a dentist, I worked with a biologist, I worked with IT persons, normal, but there was a lot of different skill sets, even persons that did not have any degree, so they didn't went to college. They were able to join and have, as you said, earn a little bit more cash than other people, make a little different things, because as you said, everything is about data, and if you know the business, then you can have a good way to work inside this data environment and the Power BI and all of business intelligence that we know.
Yes. All right, so let's talk about preparing for PL-300. The best resource to use to get ready for any Microsoft exam is Microsoft Learn itself, and it's free. So Microsoft Learn gives you a series of guided learning paths that you can take on any topic. These are Learn modules that I'm going to show one or two of them later to you. So that's where you should start. Make sure you go through all the Learn modules that are related to the exam that you're going to take. And then on top of that, there is instructional videos or live videos like the one that you're watching right now. Although the one we're in today is not a technical one of it, but the previous ones in this series would help you to get ready for passing PL-300. So Microsoft Learn, the Learn Live series, and then you just have to keep in mind that as you go through the Learn modules, they're not going to cover everything that you're going to need in the exam. There are some areas that you have to dig in deeper and study a little bit more on your own by doing some extra research.
Let me just add to this that currently I think the Learn modules are very good, not only because they cover a lot of information, but they are always updated. And if you go to if they change something in the admin or in a setting in Power BI, they will in a short term update the Learn module. So that's very good, yeah, because you are always up to date, even if you don't go to the documentation, right?
Yes, actually, that's true about Microsoft Learn in general. I think in recent years, it has been kept really up to date. So it used to be many years ago, if you were following an article on Microsoft Learn, it would have been outdated, but now they're keeping up with it very quickly. So it's been a good experience with Microsoft Learn for me. All right, so your starting point should be the study guide for any exam. The study guide is going to tell you what's on the exam, what's going to be covered, and the percentages. There's areas where you should pay more attention to. And then in addition to the study guide, there are community resources. So a lot of the experts in the community, Microsoft Data Platform MVPs or super users, Fabric community users have posted blogs or videos that are helpful to look at, especially if you have not taken one of these exams in a while. Okay, and the link that you see here on the screen, this one is the collection for PL-300. So that one, if you go to that link, that gives you everything you need to know, the study guide and all these extra resources that you can use.
Yeah, and Shabnam, if you are here from day one as I am, you remember that at the beginning, community was all that we have, right? So there was no Learn, there was no study. So there was a lot of things going around in Power BI world that was driven by the community. And that was an amazing part of the learning resources that we have. So we continue to have those resources. So take advantage of those also. Yeah.
Absolutely. So even though Microsoft Learn has made a lot of progress, there are certain topics that sometimes community members have dug in a little bit in more detail. So I definitely recommend checking out the community resources as well.
For sure.
All right, and then again, on the study guide, I'll show you this in a few minutes. There's a link to a practice test. So each Learn module at the end of it has a knowledge check. Those knowledge checks are important, so you have to make sure you're comfortable with all of the questions at the end of each Learn modules. If you're not comfortable with answering the questions at the end of each Learn module, that means you're not ready. So make sure you get those questions 100%. Once you have achieved that, then you want to take the free practice test. So this free practice test is going to give you questions that are similar to what you're going to get in the exam. And with the practice test, also, you got to make sure that you get a good score before you go and take the actual exam. And we're going to show you a little bit of the practice test later. In addition to the practice test, there is an exam sandbox as well. The sandbox is generic. It's not about any particular exam, but it gives you the look and feel of what the exam environment is going to be like on the day of the exam. So if you have not taken a Microsoft exam recently, it's a good option to go and check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now let's go and take a look at the PL-300. Let me bring that here. All right. So if you're looking, by the way, if you're looking for the study guide, you can go to the link that we shared earlier, and you can. It's going to have a link to the study guide. The other thing you can do is if you just go to the Microsoft Learn's homepage and you just type in PL-300, you're going to find a study guide. So what you see, by the way, here on the screen is that on the left side, there's study guides for all different exams. So we have PL-300 and the DP-600 and 700 are also here in this list. Okay, so this study guide has links to the practice test and the exam sandbox, as I mentioned before. But let's take a look at the other material in here that's important as you're getting ready. So there's a section that tells you it's skills measured, and this tells you what you're actually going to be tested on. Now, this is important to pay attention to because your goal when you take the exam is to pass the exam. When you're studying for a certification, your goal is learning and also passing the exam. And we all have limited time, so you want to make sure that you stay on track. So the topics that aren't part of the exam, you should not be studying as you're getting ready for the exam. So this section will tell you exactly what's going to be in the exam, and it's going to tell you what the weight is for that category. So for example, preparing the data is going to be 25 to 30% of the exam, whereas managing and securing Power BI is going to be 15 to 20% of the exam. So depending on which area you may already be familiar with and the weights, you can kind of decide where you want to invest your time. So if you have limited amount of time to study, pay attention to the ratios and see where you want to spend your study time.
Yeah, and just giving a sneak preview on what we are saying ahead, be aware that when you finalize your exam, you will know exactly what you need to study if you have the misfortune of needed to take it over again, it will tell you exactly. So just study this, but we'll see that a little bit further on this session.
Yes. So, and then each section, so then there's a summary, and then for each section, it goes into details of, okay, what does connecting to data mean? What are you exactly gonna test me about? So for example, you need to know the difference between direct query and import. So all of these categories are things that you need to understand and be able to answer questions on. And again, these exams, for the sake of passing the exam, you do not need to know everything 100%. So it's okay to skip some of the topics if you run out of time. All right, so I'm going to go back up to the first section. Actually, let me stop here 1 second. And this is the learn path. So if I open this here, this is going to have the learn modules that you can take and go through these. So make sure you finish these learn modules.
Yeah, these learn modules also have a great experience, I think, in my opinion, because you can search for the learn modules. For example, I want to be a data analyst, and they tell you, okay, do these learn modules. So it's also a good way in terms of the learn experience that you may search for a specific tool or search for a career path, for example. So it's also very well organized in that sense, in my opinion, again.
Right. By the way, any feature that is in preview is not in the exam. So preview features, as you're going through the learn modules, you can skip. It's always important as you go through learn modules to keep track of what's included in the exam itself. So here's a knowledge check from the learn modules. And these knowledge checks, they are going to be the equivalent of the easiest type of question you're going to get in the actual exam. So a lot of times people feel comfortable with the knowledge checks and they think the exam is easy, so they don't prepare properly. Just keep in mind that you have to know a little bit more. So Miguel, what do you think? Do you agree with that, or you think these are?
I think the knowledge checks are like just the check mark you do. Oh, I have read this. So it does not test your skills like the exam does. Because these questions, as you said, they are very straightforward, most of them. You have ways of checking if you can always check on other resources if this is correct or not. And in the end, they just tell you, okay, this is correct, this is wrong, just move forward. On the exam, they are much complex in terms of the writing itself of the questions and also the way you have feedback, because you only have feedback at the end of the exam and not for each of the questions. So
yes. So I'll show you real quick the practice test and then the exam sandbox. So let's open up the practice test and see what it looks like.
Yeah, if you allow me, one thing I did, and because we are talking about tips and tricks, one thing I did for the VP600, for the 600, I took one of these every single day and took note of my scores, so I would understand if I was evolving or not. So although some questions are sometimes there every single time, but we can see a lot of things just answering this.
All right, so since you took one of these every day, do you think you can answer this question for us, Miguel?
I can try. So let's see. You have designed a star schema to simplify your data. So be aware this is a best practice star schema. So you need to understand the relationships between the tables in the star schema. What is the relationship from a fact table to a dimension? So in this case, I think we need to be careful with the wording. So this is from the fact to the dimension. So I think it's the second one, many to one. So always be careful with that on the exam, because the type of the way it's written, it changes the answer, right? So let's check if I got it correct.
All right, let's see. Oh, yay! Yes. All right.
Let me just say one thing. I love the fact that for each question you answer, you have the exact place where you can take that information from. So as you can see, create DAX calculations in semantic model training. So it tells you exactly where you need to go to have further information at the bottom.
And let's go to the next one, and this time let's pick a wrong answer.
Let's do.
Let's just do random. I'm just gonna pick one randomly, and
do you know Power Query?
Oh, let's not go there.
Okay, yes. Over here, it's a good experience.
So as you're going through this, you can just keep checking next, and then at the end of it, it will give you the score at the end of the 50 questions. Or as you go, you can check your answers right there, and then it gives you links to reading more on that topic. So it tells you why your answer isn't correct and what you need to spend more time studying. So as you're as you're going through, getting ready for the exam, make sure you go through the practice test and make sure that you are getting at least an 80% score on the practice test before you go and take the actual exam.
Yeah, and the practice assessment is also with random questions. So you may have some questions that are repeated, but they will not be in the same order. So it's always a good way to see things different, right? You just enter again and question one just changed. So yeah.
Right, yes. So it's good. So you can take it over and over and you get more practice. All right. The other thing that I found to be very useful for me the first time I was taking a Microsoft exam is this Sandbox. So this gives you the look and feel of the actual exam environment. You see there's some time remaining. I see a timer going on. So you have that during the exam. The instructions are going to be similar. So you're going to have to go through some instructions that you're going to need to read through the exam. And then the exam starts. So the one thing that's different here than the actual exam is that during the actual exam, you're going to have Microsoft Learn open to the right of it. And we're going to talk about some logistics of it later. But other than that, this is what it looks like generally. And this helps you get ready for, see what are the type of questions you're going to get. So you're going to get multiple choice or pick one, pick 2 out of 5, or drag and drop. And then if you want to take a break, and so this basically shows you what the environment is like. All right, so let's see. What is your favorite sound, Miguel? Bell, bird, river, whistle?
Bird.
Bell? All right. So, okay, and as you go through the, you see, as you go through the, okay, as you go through the exam, you can mark questions for review and then come back for it later, or you can mark them as leave feedback. At the end of the exam, you can leave feedback for that one question. Or it can be pick 2 things, or it can be drag and drop, and you know, what's the order. So this just gives you an idea of different kinds of questions. So we definitely recommend that you go through the exam Sandbox as well. All right, so let's go back to our presentation. I think, Miguel, we go back to you from here.
I think so. Okay, so yeah, so exam. So on the exam, and when I took my first PL-300, this resource was not available, and now it is. So previously, you had to know everything by heart. You had no option to pick up a web link to search everything. But now, inside Microsoft, the exam is an open book, and you have Microsoft Learn. So if you are familiarized with the Microsoft Learn that Shabnam was sharing previously, you are always able to answer your questions quicker. So how does this work? So basically, this is the similar look and feel that Shabnam showed previously. So on the left side, you can see the questions over there. It's just a small screenshot. And you can open the Microsoft Learn and it will look something like this. We don't have the actual way it shows because it's a Microsoft secret, right? You cannot take screenshots of the exam itself, but we did something similar. But as you can see, you have the Microsoft Learn over here on the right, and you can always, at any point, click on the tab to open the Microsoft Learn and then just type whatever you want. So these are basic available on the role-based exams, so not the fundamentals. It's available in the language you take your exam. So if you are doing your exam in English, it will be in English. If you are taking it in Portuguese, it will show in Portuguese. So one thing, I don't know if you already know about this, but there are different languages in different certifications. So be aware that some certifications are not available in all languages, okay? But most of them are in several different languages. So the Learn will be accompanied by that same language. And basically you just need to search. Of course, there are the way it works is not exactly the same you have in terms of the learn experience, because you don't have the learning paths like you do when you are on the Microsoft Learning website. But if you know, okay, I want to search about the year-to-date DAX syntax, so you can search year-to-date DAX, and it will show the documentation or the learning experience that where you can get that information about the DAX. Or if you want to learn about what are the correct visuals, that the available visuals that you have in Power BI, what are the fields available for a specific visual, for a column chart or for a bar chart. If you have that information in the Learn, you can search it and you will find it, and you are able to take a little bit of confidence answering that question. So take advantage of that thing. And Shabnam, I don't know if you have the same experience as I did, but when I took and I opened Microsoft Learn within the exam, sometimes when I tried to close it again, everything broke. So I had to re-enter the
that was scary for me. So when I took with DP-600, that happened to me, not with DP-700. So maybe they have fixed the problem, but with DP-600, it was super scary because even if I went to resize it, my entire screen would go blank. And then because I was taking it remotely, I think like you did. And that was really scary because I didn't know if I could get back into the exam or not. Thankfully, it came back.
Yeah, but let's also make everyone a little bit more comfortable. When that happens, and that also happened to me, I was afraid as you. But when I got back in, all the questions were exactly at the same point, and the timer was kept. So we have limited time. But if you by any chance are kicked out and need to re-enter, you are able to join at the exact same time, and you will not lose any minute because of that. Okay.
I had no issues with DP-700. However, since I've had that experience, now when I open up the Microsoft Learn, I leave it open and I open up, you can have several tabs in it open, and I go ahead and I open all my syntax pages ahead of time so I don't have to touch it anymore.
Exactly. That's what we have over here. So if you know how to navigate it, if you know that what are the references that you need, you can open multiple tabs. Be aware that doing Control F will not work because this is not a page on your browser. This is a specific app that is running on your browser, so Control F will not work. But if you do that, so the exam will work properly. So be aware that when you open Learn, the timer will continue to count down. So it's just that's why it's open side by side, so that you don't lose focus on the time that you have remaining. Okay. So, but use this resource while you are doing the certification, because it's very valuable, especially on those subjects that you are not so familiar or that you needed to study as you referred to. So we did the exam, we are ready for this. Then we get to the scary part. How is this score? How is this formatted? Can I have a redo? Can I all of that? So let's check this. So first of all, just write in the comments if you are planning to take the exam sooner, in the next month, or if you wait some time and will not take advantage of the voucher. I would advise you to take advantage of the voucher, but be prepared. So basically the exam, and this is for most exams on the certifications of Microsoft, they have between 40 and 60 questions. So this number may vary between your exam attempts because the information, as we said, is always updating. So if you take one for Power BI currently, it's for sure much different than the one that was taken 6 months ago. We have a lot of new features, some things that came from out of the preview to general availability. So everything is moving forward. Be also aware that one question, you don't get any penalties for guessing that answer. Okay, so you can, if you have a multiple answer, just click the one that you think is the correct one, and don't be afraid that no points will be deducted. And you also take advantage of the mark items for review. So that is one specific thing that is good about the exam and bad at the same time. Why? You cannot, when you answer a question, unless it's a use case, you cannot go back to the previous question. So if you mark the item for review, you can go back and review it at any point, okay? So, and take another look. So the exam takes around 120 minutes. So take time in terms of what you want to do. So usually 100 minutes to answer the questions and 20 minutes for instructions, comments, and all of that. Be very mindful of this time, okay? Because if multiple choices questions are very easy, the case studies are very complex and they are very large. So sometimes one tip that Shabnam gave to me when we were preparing for this was start by reading the questions of the case studies and then go back and read the full description of the case study. Maybe it makes it easier. I don't know.
By the way, that came originally from Stephanie Bruno, so the credit goes to her.
Okay. Yeah. So she did the first session on this PL-300. So, and how is the exam score? So when we look at the exam scores, so we have a couple of things. So the score ranges are from 0 to 1,000, and you need to take 700. It's not 70%, it's 700 points. This is why, because as we said previously, not all questions are worth 1 point. So if you have 40 questions, and if you have case studies, if you have multiple choice, if you have drag and drop questions, all of that, they are scored in a different way, as you may imagine. So, for example, in the case study, you have, I don't know, 4 or 5 questions, for example. Probably some of them have different points. So if you take 700, it doesn't matter if you take everything, the 700 points, only to specific subjects, and the rest is 0, or if you take 200 points on each of the subjects, right? And if it's 6 subjects, you take 800 points. So doesn't matter how they are split. You just need to take an overall score of 700. And when you see that 700 at the end, you just say, "Oh, that's done." So, and then this is based on skills of target audience and the difficulty of the item pool, okay? And be aware, again, this may be updated every once in a while. So don't be always, oh, there was a question about bar charts, for example. That question may be there or not if they update the bar chart, for example, or if they do a new option in Power Query, that option may appear inside the exam, okay, or not. It depends, because they are always random questions from a bucket of questions. So again, for the tips and tricks, I think everyone is here on this session for them. So no points are deducted for wrong answer. So just answer everything, even if you don't know it, because guessing won't deduct anything. Go with your gut. Don't overthink it. I think this is something for every exam, right, Shabnam? Especially yes. the ones with especially multiple choice questions. We are always double checking our thoughts. Don't overthink it. Sometimes the right answer is the one that is the simplest one, right? And some questions, as we said, are worth more than 1 point. So it's very good to just answer every question. So yes. Don't leave anything behind. And if you want, as we said before, just mark as for review, and you can review it later while you are doing the rest of the exam. So when you get to a certain point, you are asked to, okay, do you want to deliver or do you want to review your questions? So if you answer them, you can always do that. Okay, Shabnam, I think it's over to you, right? For the rest of the tips and tricks.
Yes. So so let's just talk about the exam. They kind of review the process. All right. So when you what to expect, right? And this is mostly for people taking it remotely. In person is similar as well. So a proctor has to verify your identity. So you have to, if you're taking remotely, you have to upload some kind of identification through your cell phone or their website so that they can verify your identity. Once you go past that, they ask you to take pictures from around your room, upload them, or maybe they ask you to take the camera and show around the room to them, because your room needs to be clean. You cannot have another person there. You cannot have another monitor or computer running there.
Shabnam, we lost your. We are not hearing you, Shabnam. Hi, Shabnam, you are muted.
All right. Hello. How about now?
Yes, now we can. So
Okay.
you were talking that we cannot have anyone in the room and not another monitor.
Yeah, there you go. Also, while we're ahead of it, do a hardware test before your exam. Okay. When you're taking the exam remotely, they let you run a hardware test. Run the hardware test a few days before, a few hours before your exam, to make sure nothing has changed in your environment. All right, so once you're checked in, the proctor will unlock your exam. Your exam will start. You're going to go through the title screen and some NDA. You have to basically agree that you're not going to memorize the questions and post them somewhere. And then let's go to the next one. All right, and then you're going to read instructions. These are going to be similar to what you see in the sandbox that we showed you. Then there may or may not be a skill, a survey. That's up to you. Sometimes if you want to take it, even if it's there, you can skip through that. And then the exam starts. And during the exam, by the way, if you take a bathroom break, you're allowed to take a bathroom break. If you take a break and you leave the room, your previous questions are locked in place. The answers are locked in place. So you can no longer go and change the questions once you leave the room. However, you're allowed to take breaks, okay? Once you finish the exam, then you can review any questions you have left, and then you will submit it for scoring. And optionally, you can provide feedback on the questions that you have marked that you wanted to give feedback to Microsoft. And then you're going to receive your results, and hopefully you will celebrate. And if you didn't pass, it gives you some information about the areas that you need to work on.
Just one thing over here, the proctor is always available by message, okay? So
yes.
be mindful that they are always looking at you, but you are not looking at him. But if you have any questions, just send a message and they will reach out very quickly, at least through message. The first response is quick. Then depending on the problem you have or the question you want to tell them, it can take a little bit longer, but they usually are very fast. That was my personal experience with the certification director.
You have to be on the camera, by the way, 100% of the time. Yes. They have to be able to see you, your work, your desktop. They need to see that, but you don't see them. You can hear them and chat with them. So some tips about if you're taking the exam remotely: prepare your room, clean it if it's possible. Take extra items out so you don't get questions on them. Sometimes people, I've heard, they put a sheet over some of the extra monitors that they may have, or computers or books. They cover them. It's a good excuse to clean your room or office, by the way. I've taken that opportunity twice so far. Or you can just go to another room or office that you have access to that you don't have if you don't feel like cleaning up.
If you are wondering why Shabnam is saying this is because they ask you to take photos of yourself, because they want to identify that you are the person that is taking the exam, right? And also of the room, in front of you, in the back of you, on the left and the right, so they can see more or less everything you have. So because the photos are loaded live, because they wanted you to connect through your phone and all of that. So
yes. So do a hardware test. VPNs aren't allowed. Again, if whatever software you have, do their test software that they give you. For example, Pearson VUE gives you a test software you can run, and will tell you all the issues that you have. Like, this software is not allowed. Like, you cannot have a screen recording software going on, obviously. And then finally, go ahead and schedule your exam. You can reschedule your exam always. So set a date for yourself, try to get that date. But as you're getting closer, if you're really not ready for it, as long as you reschedule within the rescheduling window, you can reschedule several times.
One thing on that, the ones with the vouchers from Microsoft, usually they tell you what's the limit date for that reschedule. So if they give you the voucher and they tell you, okay, you should take it in the next 3 months, so until the end of September or October, you cannot reschedule after that date, okay? But if you are doing it in any other way, if you are paying for the certification yourself, you can extend it more than that, okay? So be careful with that. If you are using this great opportunity of the voucher from Microsoft, be mindful of the date, okay?
And I think, Miguel, you were the one who said, don't take it on the very last day that a certification, like Windows closing, like for a voucher that you're taking advantage of.
DP600, I took it with the voucher from Microsoft, and it was funny because I had a lot of problems. I waited for around 30 minutes to be admitted to the exam. And then in the middle of the exam, because of the learn, I was kicked out. And then it took me 1 hour and a half to return back. So this gave me a lot of jitters, right? I was very confused. I was very worried, but everything was in place. But I learned looking at LinkedIn that everyone was taking the exam that day because everyone was publishing, oh, I was able to get certified, blah, blah, blah. So everyone waited for the last day. So I would advise, if you are using the vouchers, don't wait for the last day. Just do it 1 week before, something like that, because for sure more users will do it on the last day. So be careful with that.
That reminds me of a scheduling tip. So let's say you schedule your exam for 11 a.m. Just make sure that you plan enough window out after it, because your exam may not start actually at 11 a.m. depending on how busy the system is. Sometimes you may start even like 5 minutes before. If you check in like half an hour before, sometimes they even let you go a few minutes before. But sometimes if there's a lot of people in the queue and there are issues, for example, you may have to wait even 30 minutes to get started. So don't schedule important meetings right after the exam, because you may run late. You may take bathroom breaks or another break, and you'll be more stressed out. So make sure you leave like a 1 hour window at least afterwards, where you don't have to worry about any appointments or meetings.
Yeah, I think we are almost out of time. So let's see the last thing, right, Shabnam?
So I think, Miguel, this was you were going to tell us a little bit more about the tips and tricks, but I think we already talked about most of these.
Yeah, I think so. So I think our main ones are over here, right? So do the learning paths, correct? Review the documentation. One thing that we didn't say, but I think this is as a big, probably this should be the first one. Ask others how they perform the tests. So sometimes just talking to other people just helps. And I reach out to everyone in the community a lot of times. Just I'm struggling with. I sent a message to Shabnam the other day saying, "Oh, I'm having an issue with MySQL. Do you have any experience? How can I do a connection to this?" So it's always good, because people can let you know about some small tricks or some things that are within the settings or something, and that question may appear in the exam, right?
Yes. So that's definitely good to do that one as well. All right, so I think we're at the end of our prepared topics for you. If there are questions in the chat, feel free. I know we have only a few minutes left, but if you want to post them, if there were anything that our sponsors did not, if our proctors did not answer any questions, please feel free to post them here. Although I know we have two amazing proctors there, so
Yeah, our thanks to Christian
Yes,
and Deep,
thank you
because
so much. Yes,
I've
made
been
our
seeing
blog
the
clear.
pop-ups on the comments over here, although I have not read them, but it's been popping up one after the other one for sure. So
Yes.
and
All right, so don't miss the 10th birthday of Power BI. There's gonna be the link that we shared with you. There's gonna be lots of surprises in there. I have a feeling there's gonna be different exam vouchers there. So definitely keep an eye there for some fun stuff. And here we go. So we have the link for the link for 50% off for these certification exams. So these are limited time. So August 31st, go ahead and take them. Don't forget about the data visualization contest. If you're really good for with visualizations, that's for you. And then FabCon in Vienna is coming up in September. Again, there's a discount code here. It's an amazing conference to be in to get an immersive fabric training. All right.
Don't forget, July 24th is the 10th year anniversary. Okay, so check out the links that we share, because there is something prepared for that day. So
yes, and Miguel, you're starting another series in Portuguese, correct?
yes, on Monday we will start the PL-300 in Portuguese. So the five sessions we have. So I'm starting with the one for prepare data and using Power BI on next Monday. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Alongside with Samir, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, all right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you our amazing moderators and our producer Anna, that you guys don't see, but she's been helping us behind the scenes. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us via LinkedIn. We had our social media accounts at the beginning of the presentation, so feel free to reach out to us, participate in the Fabric community, and thank you so much for letting us tell you about PL-300. So we hope you all pass the exam. Miguel, do you have any?
Just one additional tip. If you don't pass the exam, you can have a redo of the exam within a few months, I think. I'm not sure about everything, all the details, but don't be scared about, okay, I did the exam, now I need to pay over everything once again. So just check out how you can, what you can do in case you have a not good score, a not very good score. You can always retake the exam within the specific time frame. So that's also a good help, right?
Yes. So read the details on your, whenever you schedule the exam, all the details about the policy about retaking it is going to be when you're in the details. So make sure you read that and definitely take advantage of the retakes. Although if you follow what we were showing, you will most likely pass the exam. So yes, best of luck to you.
Hope to see everyone on LinkedIn and on social media saying, "Oh, I just passed because of this series of."
Yes, but yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Shabnam.
Bye, Miguel.